We all love rookies in fantasy football. They're the most fun part. They could be anything, even a good fantasy football player. But a lot of the time, we worry about how many rookies can we take in a draft? How many are too many rookie wide receivers? Can I take this many rookie quarterbacks? We don't know the answers to that, but today I'm going to put that to the test. I'm going to draft an underdog fantasy best ball team with only rookies, no veterans, 20 rookies in a big board draft. And we're going to see if we can draft a team that can make money and advance with only rookies. Let's do it.
Three, two, one. Liftoff.
Yes, you heard that right. Only rookies today. We're hopping in a big board draft on Underdog, and I'm taking 20 rookies. Let's see if we can draft a team that can win with only rookies. So you see, we're off and running in this big board, and I got the 102 in the draft. Got to take the best available rookie. That's Marvin Harrison Jr. Second round pick. We're pulling Marvin Harrison all the way up to the 102. It's got to be done. If we're going to take all rookies, Marvin Harrison's got to be the first one off the board, no matter where we're picking. And we just so happen to get the 102 quickly. Just wanted to, as my second round pick is coming up here in 14 picks. Clearly, if we think about this rookie class, this is going to be a zero running back team, a really heavy zero running back team. There are no rookie running backs that even are drafted until much later in the draft. So that's just something to keep in mind. Also, something that's probably a good thing. The rookie wide receiver class is really, really, really strong, especially at the top. So I think that's actually can help. I also think that the rookie quarterbacks are pretty appealing, and they also come in a pocket of the draft where I'm going to have a ton of wide receivers already, and I got a ton of rookie running backs that I can take, to close out the draft. So in a weird way, even though this is kind of a crazy experiment, it's definitely a crazy experiment. The rookie landscape does kind of fit with this general strategy here. All right, we're about to be back on the clock here in the second round. Naturally, these first couple picks are going to be pretty straightforward. Got to start with Marvin Harrison Jr. Got to come back with Malik Nabers, and then probably got to take Odunze in the third round. And actually, while that's probably a bit of a reach on really each of those top three spots, it's not that crazy, right? I'm giving up basically a first round. I'm giving away a first round pick. Marvin Harrison goes in the second. Nabers goes in the third, and Odunze goes, at the 4 or 5 turn. So I'm essentially giving up a first round pick, which is probably not ideal. But if you want to talk about a unique combination of players, I'm certainly going to have it here in this draft. All right, back on the clock at the 302. As I mentioned, pretty much have to take Odunze here. And I think those three are probably the most straightforward picks that we're going to have in this crazy experiment that we're running. While I got 20 more picks before I come back on the clock, I did just want to think about planning ahead to the future, right? So my next pick is going to be at pick 47, but the next best rookie by ADP is Brian Thomas at 69. Nice. The thing that I'm actually going to do, however, is probably take Brock Bowers first, because rookie tight end it's the thinnest position out of all of these 4 rookie positions, right? Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. I have to have Brock Bowers on this team. If Brock Bowers is not on this team, the tight ends are going to stand absolutely no chance. So I'm actually going to prioritize Brock Bowers over Brian Thomas, and then probably take Brian Thomas in the early 5th. All right, back on the clock, the 4-11. We got to do. It's got to be Brock Bowers here. He is the most crucial pick in this whole draft, making sure that I get the superstar rookie tight end on a 20 rookie team. About to come back at the 502, the 50th overall pick. smidge of a reach on Brian Thomas, but Brian Thomas is definitely the next guy that I need to take here. From this point on, though, I think is when it'll actually get a little bit interesting, where I have to start thinking about how to put the puzzle pieces together. I need two of the top end rookie quarterbacks, most likely. I need probably to get the best rookie running backs on this team. So figuring out when to take Troy Franklin, when to take Trey Benson, and those kinds of things, I think it'll actually get a little more interesting here after we take Brian Thomas. While we're waiting to come back on the clock, got 17 picks or so until my 6th round pick. I want to start building out my queue a little bit here. The rookie running backs, I need to make sure. Oh, goodness gracious. Draft is so chaotic. I'm accidentally clicking the fastest man on the planet out of my queue. I do want to make sure I get Xavier worthy on this team. I think it would be a terrible experiment if I don't get the guy who just ran a 4.2 140 and is probably going to get steamed up in drafts onto a team with 20 rookies on it. But I do want to go ahead and toss these quarterbacks in here and just put together my queue based on ADP, right? So Caleb Williams, slots in actually second so far. I haven't got to the running backs yet. Unclicked him on accident. Let's click in Jayden Daniels as well. Underdog it's not working with me here, and get Drake May in here as well. Ideally, I would like to have 2 out of Caleb May and Jayden Daniels on this team, and obviously I should be able to have my pick of those guys since I'm only drafting from the rookies. But if things get a little bit hairy and I'm not able to get Daniels, there's a running back there or something that I prefer, I can default to Drake May for sure. Adding some running backs into the queue, and I do think this is where it does start to get interesting, figuring out which wide receivers I want to, how I put these puzzle pieces together. A lot of these rookies have a very, very similar ADP. You're seeing here, as I start to put them into the queue, a ton of different guys all going, from after Troy Franklin, essentially, from 113 to 130, give or take 130 is a lot of these guys. Trey Benson, Blake Corum, Jonathan Brooks goes. I need to double check where Brooks goes. I must have missed him here on the list. Yeah, Brooks 117. So I have to figure out really how to put these guys in the appropriate, selection order. I think a guy like AD Mitchell maybe falls through the cracks a little bit, but we'll see how this plays out. Back on the clock here, definitely taking Troy Franklin. The decision at the 702, however, I think is pretty interesting. I think I need to take actually Caleb Williams, 74th overall. So there's our first, outside of Marvin Harrison, I guess, first mega reach at Brock Bowers, right? But as I start to think down the road, so I'm about to pick 74th overall. What I really would like to get is all of Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, Xavier Worthy, Blake Corum. So there's 4 guys. And I'm going to be picking 95th, 98th, 119, and 122. So there's 4 spots. And kind of all those guys' ADP is gone before then. So if I don't take Caleb here, I'm definitely going to be sacrificing probably some of those running backs. And in a weak running back class, I don't really want to sacrifice the best ones. I don't want to sacrifice Benson, Brooks, and probably Corum. I've been known that I'm not a huge Blake Corum fan, but I think from on this team, he's a decent bet to be, in a good landing spot, given all the news and rumors, the Chargers connections. I think NFL teams like Blake Corum a little bit more than we do. And I need that kind of a guy on here as well, especially because I'm drafting Jonathan Brooks, who's not probably going to be ready to be an impact player in week 1. Given the structure of only having rookies on this team, I need to make sure that I have the best running backs in a weak running back class. All right, about to come back up on the clock here. The 8-11, 95th overall. So far, you have Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Nabers, Rome Odunze, Brian Thomas, Troy Franklin, and Brock Bowers. So, okay, we got all of our top options at quarterback, tight end, and wide receiver. So we're off to a good start. Now's when things are going to start to get a little tricky. I think I need to skip AD Mitchell here if I'm going, because so I'm picking 95th and 98th. And if I want to get all of these running backs plus one of the other quarterbacks, I think it's got to be Jonathan Brooks here, actually. Probably Jonathan Brooks and Trey Benson, and then come back around and either do Jayden Daniels and Blake Corum and Xavier Worthy, Jayden Daniels and Xavier Worthy, right? Probably a combination of those guys. And it might need to be Drake May as the second quarterback on this team over Jayden Daniels just to fit those running backs. And I would really like to fit Xavier Worthy into this team. It's a weird feeling of knowing that your pick is about to come up and not sweating it at all if your guy's going to be there, because you're just reaching by 2 rounds on most of these guys. But the funny thing is, we're about to get to the part of the draft where I'm no longer really reaching. I'm going to be taking rookies much closer to ADP once we get into these later picks. So we take Trey Benson and Jonathan Brooks just to make sure that we have those top 2 running backs in this class on this team. Similar to Bowers, it was such a mandatory in such a weak tight end class. Bowers is like a must on this absurd experiment. And Brooks and Benson are pretty much a must on this team because I just run out of firepower, particularly the super high end, like workhorse day one. I know Brooks will not necessarily be day one, but you get the point, right? I need those really high end running backs on this team. And if I have to sacrifice AD Mitchell or even Jayden Daniels to do so, I've got plenty more rookie wide receivers I like later. I'm not a big AD Mitchell fan. And Jayden Daniels, I have Drake May. I technically have JJ McCarthy there as well available to me. But I don't want to go in with Bucky Irving as my running back too. While we're waiting for our next pick, quick shameless plug. What is making this a little bit easier is, as you see on your screen here, or hear me, if you're an audio listener, is our 2024 NFL Best Ball Almanac here at Spike Week. You see me point. You can access the Almanac via the link in the description. It is just a one-time fee of $69.99. Very nice price. But I have detailed breakdowns of all the rookie positions as well as rookie rankings in the Almanac here. The rookies are, of course, a part of the regular rankings, which you can find in the Almanac as well, but detailed breakdowns on all the rookies here available for you. And that's making this draft a whole lot easier. All right, we're about 5 picks away, but I wanted to call out something that happened here in this draft, maybe of note for your next drafts. You see here at the 105th pick overall, so call it 20 picks ahead of ADP, goes Xavier Worthy in the 9th round. So I don't have to worry about Xavier Worthy selecting him. AD Mitchell goes a little bit ahead of ADP as well after his really impressive combine. And so I'm coming back up here at the 10, 11, 119th overall. Xavier Worthy is long gone. So my plan of maybe trying to scoop Xavier Worthy on this team is foiled. But it's the nice thing about I already have 5 superstar rookie wide receivers. We'll come back here, and I'm probably going to take Blake Corum first, just because I don't want to. I understand that Jayden Daniels is closer to ADP here, but I really want to make sure that I have Corum. I have Drake May available. If this guy at the turn does take Jayden Daniels, I can just take Drake May here at the 11:02. I clearly am not concerned about ADP value in this draft. So whether I have Drake May or Jayden Daniels, it's not that big of a deal to me. I would rather have Jayden Daniels personally, but I needed Blake Corum, right? Making sure I push the guy around the turn that is just ever so less valuable to me is super, super important when we're trying to make sure we get the right combinations of players. So Jayden Daniels does fall to me here. Anyway, not a big deal. We take Corum and we take Daniels. We have both of our quarterbacks. We have 3 running backs, the top 3 running backs in this class by ADP at least. And we got the top 5 wide receivers, Marvin Harrison, all the way down to Troy Franklin. So now we're actually in a pretty good spot, and we're not going to be taking major reaches the rest of the way. So we'll see how this turns out. But so far, so good. Other than the huge Xavier worthy steam locking me out of getting him. About to be up in the 12th round. I removed Drake May from my board. I think quarterback is the spot where I need to make sure I just lock in at 2, and tight end with Bowers, I need to make sure I'm only taking 2. I don't even think it would be crazy for me to just take one tight end on this team. I will probably take another. I have my eye on a particular late round rookie tight end to pair with Brock Bowers. But I wanted to call out the removal because Drake May is available here, and I could absolutely take Drake May, and I don't think it would be super crazy. But given the fact that I gave away so much value early in the draft, right? I'm playing without a first round pick type of a situation. I think I just need to take the extra roster spots at running back and wide receiver to try to make up that ground. And in particular here, I am going to take running backs because I think this is ultimately the best spot for running backs. I'm pretty strong actually, despite only having rookies on this team. I'm pretty strong at wide receiver, and so I want to make sure I get my running backs here. And I am taking my favorite guys here personally, and passing on Braylon Allen and passing on Jaylen Wright. Jaylen Wright especially has risen up from. It's not a big deal this rise in his price, and I understand Audric Estime did run poorly at the combine, but I want to take my guys on this team. I prefer Marshawn, Lloyd, and Estime to Jaylen Wright and Braylon Allen, and so I'm going to take them and then see if we can pivot back to some of our favorite wide receivers to kind of close out wide receiver. Probably end. My guess is we'll end with a 2-8-8-2 structure on this team. Like I said, I'm open to a solo Brock Bowers, but I think I've done something crazy enough on this team. I don't think we need to compound our absurd experiments on one team and also make this a solo tight end team. So probably stick to 2-8-8-2 on this one. All right, coming back up on the clock in the 14th round, 14th and 15th round picks coming out, pick 167. As I mentioned before, if I'm going to do this dumb idea of taking all rookies on a team, I'm going to get my guys. So we're hoping that Ray Davis is available here at pick 167. And then I'm going to make a nice big old reach on my guy, Malik Washington. So continuing down this structure, building towards, like I said, a 2-8-8-2. But I also think that outside of Ray Davis, like I don't hate all the other running backs that are available here, the rookie running backs, but he is clearly the standout for me, and I'm comfortable with him being my 6th running back, and I can wait till the end. Why can I take Malik Washington here at pick 170 when his ADP is 194? It's not a lock. He'll come back to me at the next pick. So I could take Malachi Corley here and wait for Malik Washington, but I'm just going to get my guy. If I have to sacrifice Malik Corley to get Ray Davis and Malik Washington, that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to take our 6th running back and 6th wide receiver, giving us Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, Blake Corum, Marshawn Lloyd, Audric Estime, Ray Davis, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Nabers, Rome Odunze, Brian Thomas, Troy Franklin, Malik Washington, and Brock Bowers. We are 15 rookies in to our 20 rookie draft. And so far, so good. We're up in the 16th round. I'm going to do something a little bit different. Tez Walker is at the top of my queue, at the top rookie by ADP. He's actually fallen behind ADP. My first pick, though, I'm going to take Ben Sinnott, tight end from Kansas State. Tested really well out in Indy, and I want to make sure I get my guy, right? Similar to a lot of the things we've talked about before at these turn picks. I know he's probably not going to go, but I want to make sure to get him here. Tez does go, but I had Javon Baker, who is one of my favorite wide receivers in this class that goes late in drafts. So I kind of had that. I actually prefer Javon Baker to Tez Walker. And so when I had that pick at the turnout, let's make sure I get my tight end because it's pretty crucial to get the tight ends that I want / need as rookies on this team. And then we're going to take my guy, Javon Baker. So we are 17 picks into the dumbest draft I've ever done in my entire life with 17 rookies. But we're looking at one more wide receiver and 2 more running backs. So we got the queue all built out here. We're going to see if we can land this plane with 3 more rookies. All right, 2 picks away from the 18th round, our 18th and 19th rookies on the same team. What an idiot. Got 2 more running backs to take and 1 more wide receiver to take in a 2-8-8-2 structure. Again, this is where I want to make sure that I get my guys. We're in such a wide open tier. I don't think exactly who we select and what their ADP is matters too much. Although my favorite wide receiver that is left, and I only get to take 1 more, is Jacob Cowing out of Arizona. So we're going to take Cowing here. And then get 2 more running backs to take. I have been leaning into Cody Schrader and Dillon Johnson typically back here. Those are my 2 favorite guys. Dillon Johnson has the highest ADP of the group. Dylan Lobb has a little higher ADP, but I'm more bullish on on Dillon Johnson. And so we're gonna go ahead and take Dillon Johnson here as our 7th running back, and then see make sure I got a queue of running backs, rookie running backs put together here. But then we'll see what's left for us at the in the 20th round, the very end of this draft, to finalize a 20 rookie team like a total fish. All right, here it comes. 20th round pick, 20th rookie. We're landing this plane. 1 more running back to close out the 20 rookie team and see if this absurd idea can eke out some money in the big board. Clearly, this is a little bit of a bit, but I did want to see, like, I think rookies are the linchpin of probably best ball in general, but definitely of the big board. But we're constantly talking about how many rookies can I take? How many rookies is too many? And last year, if you drafted like 15 rookies, you had an awesome team. I think this is probably a little bit too extreme, but it's also like a total experiment that we can see, like, just how well can this team do, right? We can look back during the season. I am going to take Rasheen Ali out of Marshall. He's a rookie who I haven't. What in the heck? You must select players from at least 2 different teams. You can't take 20 rookies on Underdog? Oh no, I just timed out. Okay, it worked. That was freaking me out. I was getting the getting the error that says you must select players from at least 2 different teams, but the auto pick worked for Ali. Really quickly, let's just run down this ridiculous team. But I do really want to see. Of course, my expectation is this team is not going to do well. It's going to lose. But I want to see specifically, like, how poorly does this go, or how well does this go? I don't imagine that this can maybe win the big board, but I think going through the experiment and seeing just how poorly it turns out, or maybe it doesn't turn out as poorly as we think, can help lead us into the direction of, how many rookies. We're trying to answer that question. How many rookies are too many rookies? And if you can, like, not fail with all rookies, clearly giving away tons of ADP value, giving away like a 1st round pick. I think if you can do okay with that kind of a team, we're probably not drafting enough rookies. So we'll look back on this team next year in the big board and use it as something that, it's a funny / silly draft, but I actually think there's a lesson to be had in here. Anyway, let's run down the team really quickly, and then we'll get out of here. Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels at quarterback. Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, Blake Corum, Marshawn Lloyd, Audric Estime, Ray Davis, Dillon Johnson, and Rasheen Ali. At running back, Marvin Harrison, Malik Nabers, Odunze, Brian Thomas, Troy Franklin, Malik Washington, Javon Baker, and Jacob Cowing. That is a pretty sexy wide receiver room, if I do say so myself. Brock Bowers and Benson. I don't think I genuinely do not think this is too bad. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I don't think that this is that bad. I think it's probably missing 1, maybe 2 impactful players, like from an ADP, like, right. We went into an auction draft and I only spent $170 instead of 200 or something like that, right? I didn't spend my full allotment of auction dollars, and I'm missing that one impact early round player, and that's definitely going to be a huge difference and really probably hurt this team. But also, I think when you look down and you look at the ADPs and you look at the talent that's on this team, it's probably not as bad as we would have expected. So we'll definitely look back on this team next year or during the season and see what can we learn from this silly team that took 20 rookies in a 20-round big board draft on Underdog. We're going to find out. It's probably going to go poorly, but we're definitely going to learn some kind of lesson, and that's what we were here to do in the first place. Anyway, we'll catch you guys later next time. See ya.
Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there, you can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.